A very good morning to you. How are you doing? How have you woken up? I hope you're fantastic. My day has started well. This is the breakfast show, and I am your host, Lillian Thomas. How was your night? What are you planning on doing today? Okay, we want to have a discussion with you people, as we usually do right here at Our Farmers. We are live on Facebook at Our Farmers. On YouTube, we are at Our Farmers Media. So if you are watching us for the first time, make sure you are following our pages. On Facebook, we are at Farmers. On YouTube, we are at Farmers Media. Subscribe to our page and hit the notification bell. Every time we go live, anytime we upload a video, you will be notified because we are here to provide you with information, every information that you need as a farmer, as a person in the agriculture industry, and to try and have a discussion about the issues you're facing. Maybe we can find a solution, right? Because we want to do farming the right way. And that's what we are here to do at our farmers. At our farmers, we help you attain knowledge so that you can grow profits. That's purposely why we are here. I hope you're fantastic. I hope you're fantastic. My day has started on a very good note. Um, my favorite day is usually Thursdays, but I think I'm starting to like Tuesdays. I like the vibe that comes with it. Like you are now getting used to the week. You are already settled on Monday, so on Tuesday you are more of adapting, and it becomes so easier. I think I like Tuesdays. I hope your day is well. Honestly, I really hope so. Just as a reminder, we still have COVID around. So if you are getting out of the house, you are going anywhere in a public place, make sure you are putting on your mask, you are sanitizing your hands or washing them very regularly, and you are also keeping social distance. It is very, very important, very vital that you do. Because we are here because we have been keeping all these measures. If we had not been keeping these measures, you wouldn't be listening to me today. You wouldn't be watching me today. But because you have been doing that, that is fantastic. Okay. So today, I want to shift a little bit from what we've been discussing. The whole of last week, we've been looking at everything concerning sustainable agriculture. So we did that the whole of last week. We covered sustainable agriculture, conservation agriculture, zero hunger. We did food waste and food loss. Everything we did was aimed towards sustainable agriculture. But someone came to our inbox. We told you if you have questions, you can always come to our inbox. We will answer you. If you want a topic discussed, we will do that for you, okay? So, someone by the name George Ogola was asking if we could discuss on how to make money from farming. How to make money from farming. Personally, I thought if we are to make money from farming, we have to do things the right way. We have to do things the right way. So basically, today we will be talking about crop production. So we are starting from the basics of crop production. What is crop production? How do you engage? What is the importance of you engaging in crop production? What are the challenges that you might face in crop production? That's what we will be looking at. And since we realized you need the information, in the next several days, we will be covering your crops. So we will be covering crop by crop. We'll be looking on how you establish certain crops, the pests and diseases that affect the crops, the yields you get from the crops, the economic value that comes with it, the benefits of the crops. That's what we will be looking at as from tomorrow. But as from today, we are going to look at the basics of crop production. Sorry, pardon, crop production. I don't know, you are you a farmer? Are you engaging in farming activities? Do you want to share with me how you got into it, how you are doing it, and the challenges that you are facing, that because that is what crop production is about. If you are a farmer, kindly send me your feedback. We are at Facebook or at our farmers. On YouTube, we are at our farmers media. So you can just send me your feedback. I'll be sampling that when we come into the second half of the show. But before we get into our discussion, we always start with the quote of the day. By the way, Mini Yule anti were good vibes. Anti were positive vibes, eh? I always start, I try so much to be a very positive person. Yesterday, I told you something about positivity. It is something I really try. I realize the moment I am positive, things seem to be working out for me. So Auntie wa good vibes anasema leo. The quote of today says, with confidence, you have won even before you have started. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. I don't know how you interpret that. As per you, I don't know how you interpret that. But have you ever seen a scenario whereby someone, like someone has come for an interview, right? They don't have the skills, like the skills zero. Hakuna, by the way, they know nothing. Hawana hizo papers. It's like I walk in, nimeenda kufanya job ya kukua receptionist, okay? I don't have the skills, I don't have the papers, I haven't done a secretarial course. Sawa? But I walk into the interview and yo, my confidence, top notch. Answer the questions vizuri, you are ready to learn and everything and everything and everything. And then at the end of the day, the interviewing panel is like, we dem anakaa anajua Kenya anafanya. It's like she knows what she's doing, so we might as well absorb her. And it works out for you. So confidence is the first thing that you need for you to achieve anything. If you have confidence, you will believe in yourself. If you believe in self, you are most likely able to achieve everything. You can conquer the world. Sawa? So the quote of the day is, with confidence, you have won even before you have started. Sawa? That is it from Antiwa Good Vibes. That's it for today. So we want to get into the topic of discussion, crop production. I don't know. What do you understand by crop production as from you? But for me, crop production is actually growing crops for domestic and commercial use. It can be only for domestic use, it can be only for commercial use, it can be for both. Okay. So we have the subsistence farming whereby you grow crops for your own use. Okay. And then we have commercial farming whereby we are growing crops to sell. Sawa. And in all these things, we have practices that you have to maintain. There are things you should do. There are steps you should follow to ensure crop production. So agriculture, we need food to survive. Food sustains us. Food helps us sustain ourselves. So we need food, and we can only obtain food through crop production. That's why crop production is important. It helps us get food. Sour. And for any person who wants to engage in crop production, you have to do it right from the word go. From the word go, you have to get it right. So this farmer was asking on how to make money from farming. Agriculture is a business. It is agribusiness, sawa? It is agribusiness. You need to make money from it if you are doing it commercially. And if you are to make money from it, you have to balance the input and the output. You have to have a greater output than what you put into your shamba. Where do we start when we are getting into crop production? Sawa, you are thinking of, let's say, getting into farming. The basic thing you need, what do you want to farm? What do you want to farm? What do you want to grow? What crops are you really interested in? Just find that out first. Find out the crops that you really need to grow first, okay? So you have established the crop that you want to grow. So let's say you want to grow cabbages. You want to grow cabbages. You have outlined that you want to grow cabbage. Do you have land? Yes or no? Okay, if you have land, better. If you can lease land, okay, that is fine. It will work out. So you acquire land that you will be using, which is good. What is your plan? What is your plan? So let's say you want to use, you have 8 acres of land and you want to get into farming. And for you, you don't think you will do one crop on the entire farm. So you want to do like several crops. Do you know crops that can coexist? Yes, you find that out, you outline them. How are you going to subdivide your shamba to grow these crops that you want to grow? You subdivide everything in the shamba, you find out how you want to grow them. Like, I'm going to grow cabbages in 1 acre of land. I'll be doing onions In 2 acres, I'll be doing maize. In 3 acres, like outline everything. And here is where we always say it is important to have a farm plan. A farm plan is very important. You outline everything from what you need, what you are going to spend, how you plan on doing all these things. And if you are not able to do that, work with experts. Actually, here at Farmers, we can help you do that. You call us, we will help you do that. We provide such services. So work with an expert who can help guide you on how to outline everything in your farm plan. Outline your farm plan, and you are good to go. So you have the crops you want to grow. You have land, you have acquired land, or a way of getting the land that you will be using, and then you have a farm plan. So you know what you are getting into. And I keep saying information is power. Information is power. I will keep emphasizing information is power, because I know if you are watching me right now, you are listening to me right now, you can actually access the internet. Yes, you can access the internet. Do you know the internet is full of information that you need? If you want to get into cabbage farming, do your background study. How does cabbage grow? What processes do you go through in order to grow cabbages? What yields do you expect? How much money do you expect to make out of it? What are the challenges you might be facing, you might face when you get into cabbage farming? Like, do your research. What kind of species can I actually grow? Like, what kind of variety can I grow in my area? What are my climatic conditions? What do I know about my soil? Information is power. So make sure you are attaining information. And we always say, don't attain information and katunayo. Like, you just have the information, you're not using it, you're not implementing it in any way. It is as good as you not having the information. Okay? So you get the information, do a background study of everything that you need to do. If it's cabbage farming, find out everything about cabbages. And if possible, if you can find a farmer who is already into cabbage farming, better. It's better, because they will always guide you. You got to like see how they do things. They will tell you the challenges they are facing, how they've been able to overcome the challenges. It becomes easier. It's like you have a working partner, a partner walking beside you. When you're falling, they will hold you. Yes, it is better if you have someone walking beside you. And if you can't get a farmer who's already doing that, experts are here. The agronomists are always here to do that for you. Sawa? Yes. So you have like the farm plan and everything, you've established all these things. You have your capital. Capital is very, very important, because it will help you acquire the inputs that you need, from the seeds to materials that you'll be using in your shamba, the tools, especially if you're not in conservation agriculture. But we said conservation agriculture is the way to go towards where we are headed. Conservation agriculture is the way to go. Like zero tillage, very minimum tillage. The most you can do is when you're seeding, which makes it very easy. Yes, conservation agriculture is where we are headed. But there are several steps that you really need to follow for you to be able to do proper crop production. I've said this is the basis. So we will look at the basis of what you need to do. And then from Kesho, we start on various crops of which we are growing right here. We will start with every crop that you need to be covered. We will be having cabbages, tomatoes, onions, maize. I know a lot of people grow maize. Yes, we'll be doing all that. So we will be going into details in the production of the various crops. But today, the general production. So you've acquired everything that you need, and you are getting into farming. I have had people who, you have a shamba, you have the capital, you have the inputs, but you really don't know where to start from. You really don't know. Where do you begin? How should I till my land? How should I clear my land? It becomes really hectic for some of the farmers because they don't really have the information, okay? But we want you to get the information of what you're supposed to be doing, how you are supposed to be doing. Usikuwe na hiyo shamba hapo home and then there's nothing you're doing with it. I always say start small. You see, like the basic things. You have a small kalanda hapo nyuma ya kitchen. It is more like a kitchen garden. Alafu you don't grow anything, like even simple vegetables. You see, like things like spring onions. Spring onions grow vizuri sana, very fast. If you can actually learn like a basic skill, just learn hapo tu kwa nyumba. Learn how to farm your land, to dig your land, learn how to plant the seeds, learn how to space. Like you say, start small if you really are not a risk taker of going into boom, start everything. But if you are a risk taker and you have experts guiding you, nothing will ever go wrong. So the land preparation, you have land. What kind of land do you have? Do you have virgin land or your land has been in use for so long? What do you need to do? For most people, I know people who use virgin land, you need to clear your land from clearing the bushes all this way. You need to clear your land like completely of everything that it has. You need to clear your land. But we always advocate if you have trees in your land that you really want to farm in and they are not a problem to the crops you want to grow, don't cut down your trees. Don't cut down your trees. Let them stay there. They will help in wind breaking and stuff. Don't cut down your trees. And it is a way of practicing sustainable agriculture the moment you are practicing agroforestry in your shamba. So don't cut down your trees, but you can clear the bushes and everything else. Sawa? You've cleared your bushes and everything. Now we are getting into the soil, the preparation, and everything that you need. We have people who will use tractors and plows to get their land done if it is a really huge, big piece of land. Sawa, you will use the tractor to plow your land for you. For people with small shambas, especially in the rural areas, you see, I come from Kisi. In Kisi, the soils are really good. We have these red volcanic soils, really good soils, well drained, very easy to till. Very easy to till. So people have no issue with tilling the soil. So you find you bring laborers to come to the shamba if it is not a very big shamba and they do the work. In a day or two, they are done because the soils are very manageable. We have people who go that way, which is still okay. But when you are done with the preparation of the soil, I am talking about people who are not dealing with conservation agriculture. Are these soils in a good condition to grow the crop that you need to grow? Yes? No, you don't know? Okay. You need to do a soil test in order for you to find out if they are in the best conditions for you to be growing your crops. Because if they are not in the good conditions, I mean, by do they have the nutrients that your crops will be requiring? What is the pH of the soil? How saline are they or how acidic are they? We really need to know pH ya hii mchanga. Is it too high? Tunafaa tuongeze kitu irudi chini, you know. You need to find out the pH of the soil because the pH determines the development of your crops. We have crops that grow in a specific pH. You have a crop that will grow from 4 to 6 pH. So any soil that has a pH higher than that, the crop will not do as good. So you have to lower the pH to around 4 to 6. You have crops that grow very well in a pH of 7 to 9. So if you have a pH less than that, the crops won't do very well and you have to increase the pH. And we always do that by fertilizers, the fertilizers that we use in our shamba. So do they have enough nutrients? Are the soils infected? Are the soils infected? For so long, we've had a problem, especially when a farmer goes to plant their crops. You plant your crops, you're good. You didn't test your soil, you didn't do anything. So you just went to lima vile mumezoea, the way you always do it. Eh? We have people who wanasemanga, mi sijawe. I had someone explain to me, akiniambia, I don't see the importance of me doing my soil test. Yet my mom has been growing crops for so long and she has never done a soil test and she keeps getting produce back. So tuko na ile mentality ya hizi vitu by the way zimekuwa zikifanywa hivi na zimekuwa zikiwork. Mbona unaniambia sahii ni change? Like what difference is it making? It is not making any difference. That mentality is like we need to be getting rid of it and just work with what the experts are telling us if we are to achieve maximum productivity of our shambas. Because sometimes you will grow your crop in certain soils, and then the moment you've grown your crops, especially for things like tomatoes, kidogo kidogo unaona your tomatoes are drying up for no good reason. They are drying up, yeah, from down going up or from up going down, like they are drying up. You are not going to be getting any tomatoes from your farm. And then you don't know what the problem is. And then now you start asking, no, what's wrong with my shamba? What should I do? And then when someone asks you, did you do a soil test? No. Maybe, just maybe, your soil is infected. It is very important that you do a soil test. The soil test will help determine if you have the right conditions to grow your crop in terms of nutrients and in terms of pests and diseases in your soil. And whenever you find like you have less nutrients, you will always be advised, especially if you are working with an expert, or rather, you can always consult an expert at a small consultation fee, of course. You can always consult your expert to tell you what kind of fertilizers to apply at what rate to give you the best conditions. Because we are trying to get rid of, you see, this process whereby I just come, ile ya, sisi tunapandanga mahindi na DAP. Do you know why you apply DAP? No. Do you know what nutrients you're gaining from the DAP? No. Do you know at what amount you should apply? No. All you know is nachukua DAP kidogo, nachanganya na mchanga, naeka, I put my seeds, me, I am good to go, okay? But you really don't know the logic behind it. You don't even know if what you're doing is correct. You don't even know if the amount you're using is the right amount. After the fertilizer you're using, are you okay? Are you sure it is what you should be using right now? You don't? You don't know? Yes, that's why we have people like soil scientists around. Last week, when we were discussing something in conservation agriculture, we realized in conservation agriculture there is zero tillage. Like people don't till their land. So this whole thing of tractors na kutumia jembe, it is non-existent in that world. It is non-existent in conservation agriculture. And don't forget, the UN, through FAO, has advised that people should be shifting towards conservation agriculture if we are to have maximum productivity by the time we are getting to 2050. And in order for us to get rid of the hunger cases and the starvation cases, we want to achieve zero hunger by the time we are getting to 2030. And by the time we are getting to 2050, we aim at obtaining like maximum food security in the world. And they advised that using tillage methods like tractors, slashing, and digging your shamba using a jembe kind of degrades the soil. It degrades the soil and it makes the soil a little bit useless, a little bit not so good for farming practices. So they advise that you should not. You should not. As it is not, we said conservation agriculture is a form of sustainable agriculture. So the moment we are digging and doing all these things, after several years, our land is degraded, our soil is degraded, okay? meaning it is not a sustainable form of agriculture. It is very unsustainable. And then there's this whole thing of whenever you are using labor and the machines to work, like it uses money, it is quite expensive kidogo. But pia we can just say it is labor intensive, especially like I have said, for people in my home area. In Kisi, these people don't even use machines. Watu wanalima hiyo shamba. These people wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock, them and their oxen. Kwanza planting period, them and their oxen at 4 o'clock wako kwa shamba. By the time it's getting to 11, midday, when the sun is like burning bright, they are done. They are done from the shamba. It is done for them. And you see, if you have a very big shamba, it kinda takes too much labor. It needs too much labor. It is labor intensive. And if you don't have the people, like you see in Ushago, these people rely in their family members to help them. But what if hawatu hawako? What happens? You need to acquire labor. Don't you think it's expensive for you? It can be very, very expensive. If you reduce the tillage and use like proper tools, you see, like the way we say when you are in conservation agriculture, you're not using any tools and you're using things like planters, seeders actually, to plant your seeds. It makes it very easier for you. And the moment you prepare your land well, I will tell you the advantage. The moment you prepare your land well, you are able to minimize weeds in your farm. You are able to minimize weeds in your farm. Because weeds, you see, when weeds grow, we said, was it in a discussion we had about integrated pest management? We said a weed is anything that is growing that you didn't intend for it to be there. So I am growing maize and terere appears on my shamba. Did you know that terere is a weed? It will be a weed because initially I was growing maize, but it appeared. It becomes a weed. So we need to ensure that if you're doing your tillage, do it well. Get rid of the weeds. Any like unaongeza nyasi yulima and then unatoa tupa, get them away from your shamba. Get rid of the weeds because when weeds grow, kwanza you have grass growing and your crop is growing and then they start competing for nutrients. And then your crops are deprived of nutrients, they can't grow and achieve maximum productivity. And sometimes weeds actually harbor insects, pests, and other diseases. And you don't want that in your farm because they will transfer them to your crops. You don't want that to be happening in your farm. So weeding is very proper. For people who are starting it, you can actually spray. You can actually spray a very selective spray, and it will reduce the weeds you will be having in your shamba. We're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we'll be looking at all the other steps in crop production, and then we'll be looking at the advantages and the importance of crop production, and then we will look at the challenges you might face in crop production. And I've said tomorrow we are going to start from crops, various crops. We are going to get into crops, various crops, and we will be discussing that. We help you know how to establish the crops, how to manage the crops, the pest and diseases. We will be educating you on that on the breakfast show. So make sure you are staying tuned in. And you can as well, by the way, tell me what crop do you need information on? Like I keep it as a priority before the rest. I'll do that for you. That's why I'm here for you. Yes, you can actually be sending me your feedback on Facebook. Write them on our comment section. So on Facebook, you can tell me if you are a farmer, how do you do your process? Like how did you get into crop production? How has your process been like? You can also tell me what are the challenges you faced in crop production, okay? And I told you I will be searching you out for the weather forecast. Sawa sawa. So in the second half, I'll be giving you weather forecast. Alafu in the third round, I'll be giving you the farming tip of the day. I got you, Cindy. Kabisa, kabisa. So we're going to take a very short break, but make sure you are staying tuned in, and we will be back in a few.
One of the most important activities on our farms is scouting. Why is it important? Because you get to know what is affecting your crops on a daily basis. Join me, Noah Nasiali Kadima, every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., where we guide you to attain knowledge and grow profits.
Are you a farmer facing challenges in your farm? Pests, diseases, or even unsatisfactory produce? Worry no more. The solution is here. Join us every Tuesday on Diagnostic Tuesday, where we talk about various issues affecting agriculture and interacting with experts with knowledge in different sectors of agriculture to provide you with appropriate solutions, giving hope to farmers to attain better yields, to achieve financial success and development. Our farmers attain knowledge and grow profits.
Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. Agriculture provides most of the world's food and fabrics. It is not only a source of food and income, but also creates employment opportunities for many people in the world. Over 1 billion people worldwide work in agriculture, generating 2.4 trillion for the global economy. The global impact of farming on the environment is revealed that 40% of the Earth's land is now given over to agriculture. Agricultural development is one of the most powerful tools to end extreme poverty, boost shared prosperity, and feed a projected 9.7 billion people by 2050. And we, the Our Farmers Media, roll the carpet for you as we welcome you to our thrilling farm visits to different farmers that educate and inspire you in different sectors in agriculture. Catch us also on our shows on all our social media platforms as we bring you educative and informative information that will help you learn and guide you on your agriculture journey to success. Our farmers attain knowledge and grow profits.
Farmers is the home of Africa Farmers Club, and by extension, African farmers. The whole idea behind Farmers is to transform the image of an African farmer from a producer into an entrepreneur, somebody who actually does not think about how to produce onions, but how much is going to be used to produce onions, and so that way then they can be able to transform their vision, they can be able to look at their farms as businesses, and they can be able to know when to engage with the market. What we have done is that we have developed a hub where farmers bring their information, bring their questions, their challenges, and other farmers are there to come out and help. Facebook has not just been instrumental, Facebook has been a working partner for myself as well. And Facebook has actually transformed the way we relate, an open platform. My background is in tech, and I know you cannot build a platform that can reach out to so many people. Initially, it was just a few counties, Machakos County and Kajiado counties, but now it has transformed. We have a stronger membership from Nigeria and Zambia than even Kenya itself, And the reason behind this is the messages I get from different farmers across Africa. And then something interesting came to my mind, and I thought about using the camera. Every time I visited farmers, I would be able to post in the community, in the group, in my own profile, and just share the story of the farmer that I visited. And then I asked myself, why wouldn't I get this information, develop it in a way that other people can be able to benefit? If we go for a training, how do we capture that so that those who are not, the farmers who are not able to come for that training can still benefit? And hence the birth of a farmers media. Our mission as an organization is to help farmers, African farmers, to attain knowledge and grow profits.
A very good morning to you. How are you doing today? How have you woken up? Are you okay? I hope you are. I hope you are being the awesome person that you are, and you are in good health, and you have risen up to start your day and engage in your activities. Okay? We've been having a discussion on crop production, and we want to really look at the basis of crop production before we start engaging into various crops as from tomorrow in the crop production of various crops. So we want to look generally at something, what crop production entails, what you need to do, what you can do right, what you've been doing wrong. We just want to address that. And this is from one of our listeners and our viewers, George Ogola, was asking how you can make benefits from farming. How you can make money from farming. And we really thought if you really need to do it and make money, you have to do it in the right way. In the right way. That's the discussion that we are having right here at Our Farmers. So you can keep sending me your feedback. On Facebook, we are at Our Farmers. On YouTube, we are at Our Farmers Media. As a reminder, put on your mask, sanitize your hand or wash your hands regularly, keep social distance. If you have no business getting out of the house, can you please stay indoors? Yeah, that would be really great if you do all those things. Sawa sawa? I will remind you again the quote of the day. The quote of the day was saying, with confidence, you have won even before you have started. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. That's the quote of the day. Niliwambia mimi ni anti wa good vibes. I will be giving you all the good vibes that you need here. Positive vibes. Allah, that is just part of me. I want to get back into the discussion, but before we do that, I told you I'll be covering for you the weather updates, and I just want to get into that so that we can get back into our discussion. And really, I'll be sampling your feedback and see what you're saying, and what you think about what we are talking about today. Okay, so I'll be getting to your feedback in a few, but before then, weather updates come first. So I usually do the weather updates in terms of the region. So depending on the region you are watching me from, I will do it in terms of the regions. So be very attentive to listen to your region. If you are in 254, okay, I am talking to people in Kenya. If you are in Kenya, the weather updates are for you. I know I have people listening to me from Nigeria and Zambia, and I really don't have your weather updates, but you can try and make sure you obtain your weather updates from your meteorological department. Okay, it is very vital for a farmer to know the weather patterns. So in Kenya, the Lake Victoria Basin, which includes the Lake Victoria Basin and the west of Rift Valley, includes Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, Trans Nzoia, Baringo, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Nakuru, Narok, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, and Busia counties. Today is 20th. You are expecting sunny intervals in the morning, showers and thunderstorms over several places, and a chance of showers over a few places at night. Your temperatures will be 28 degrees Celsius and 13 degrees Celsius. Like 28 is the highest, 13 is the lowest. The second region is the northwest region. I swear, this region actually intrigues me. It's one place I'd really like to visit someday, especially Samburu. So the northwest region is Turkana, West Pokot, and Samburu. You are expecting sunny intervals in the morning, a chance of showers over a few places in the afternoon, and it will be partly cloudy in the evening. Highest temperatures 38 degrees Celsius, lowest temperatures 24 degrees Celsius. The highland east of the Rift Valley, which includes Nyandarua, Laikipia, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Muranga, Kiambu, Meru, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, and Nairobi. So majorly the former Central Province and a little bit of the Eastern Province and Nairobi. You are expecting sunny intervals in the morning, showers over a few places in the afternoon, and showers over a few places at night. Highest temperatures 27 degrees Celsius and 9 degrees Celsius as the lowest temperature. And then kuna watu wangu wa huko juu, the northeast, Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, and Isiolo counties. You are expecting rain over a few places in the morning, showers over a few places in the afternoon, and showers over a few places in the evening. The temperatures 38 degrees centigrade, 17 degrees centigrade as the lowest. I honestly wonder how these people survive. Like highest temperatures are 38 degrees Celsius. How do you even manage? It's hectic. It can be hectic anyway. The other region is the southeastern lowlands. Kitui, Makueni, Machakos, watu wa Masaku, Kajiado, and Taita Taveta counties, the land of pretty girls. So we will be having sunny intervals in the morning, a chance of showers over a few places in the afternoon, and then it will be partly cloudy in the evening. 33 degrees Celsius is your highest temperature, and then 16 degrees Celsius is your lowest temperature at that place. And then the last region, the coastal strip, watu wa Mombasani, Mombasa, Tana River, Kilifi, Lamu, and Kwale counties, watu wa beach. You have sunny intervals in the morning, a chance of showers over a few places in the afternoon, and then it will be partly cloudy in the evening. So highest temperatures 34 degrees Celsius, lowest 25 degrees Celsius. You people live in hot places, very hot places. So that is the weather for you. I hope it will be useful for you during the day. I want to sample some of your feedback. I want to see what you're saying and what you're telling me right here. So I have Tijani Aliyu. I hope I got the name right. Tijani Aliyu. You're saying you're watching from Farm Space Technology, Nigeria, and you are saying thanks are farmers. Thank you so much, Tijani, for watching. I think you are among our top fans right here. Thank you so much for always staying tuned in for our shows. We always love your feedback. And then I have Peter Nyateng. Peter Nyateng works with Vertical Farming Association, the Alliance of Vertical Farming. So Peter Nyateng says, oh, so he's giving feedback on what I just discussed. Peter Nyateng says, let me see where to start. The moment you do agriculture, you find no reason on doing soil test. The moment you plunge in agribusiness, soil test is imperative. Farmers who practice agribusiness would want to avoid risk related to soil as possible. So he has put a very clear difference. If you are doing agriculture, like just plain agriculture, you see, like the way people who do subsistence farming, these people don't really do soil test. But I think it's important that they also do if you really need food to feed your family for a longer period, okay? But the moment you get into agribusiness, so he puts like a difference. The moment you are in agribusiness, you have no other option but to do soil tests because you don't want the risks that are related with soil as much as possible. Okay, thank you, Peter Nyateng. That is very important. So soil test is a must, especially for people who are asking me if you how can you make money from farming. Soil test ni lazima, my friend. It is a must. You don't have an option. By the way, if you have problems with your soil and you really need help, you can holler at us. Holler at us. We will sort you out. We will do that for you. We will come in through for you. So make sure you are messaging us and we'll sort you out. If you cannot, you can as well give us a call. Our number will be displayed on the screen. Our number is 0700 288 okay? You can as well give us a call. If you can't message us, give us a call. You need help with your soil, we will do that for you right here at our farmers. Peter Nyateng also says, while spraying weeds using herbicides helps farmers to reduce the weeds in the farm, the same is discouraged since it corrupts the soil health. Very true. Any use of chemicals, any use of chemicals in the farm tends to tamper with the health of the soil. Whether you are using chemicals to spray your pests, your diseases, you know the way you use chemical as an option of getting rid of the pested diseases in your farm, it tends to tamper with your soil. I did a show on integrated pest management. There are always other better options that you can use in order to get rid of these things. Something like weeds. When you are planting, use mulching. It will help you. And when you find weeds on your farm, you know, we actually advocate for hand picking, like you are uprooting. It is easier. Like use the physical means instead of you using chemicals. If you need the good health in your soil. And then Peter Nyateng also says, wow, you've given me really good feedback, and I like how informative it is. He says, at the same time, tilling your land at the same depth for a long time brings about hard pan, which makes it difficult for plant roots to penetrate, lowering the productivity. Did I mention that? Okay. We said it even last week when we did something on conservation agriculture. The more you till your land, you are degrading your land. You see, we are tilling land day in, day out. We degrade the land, and then the land can't be as productive as it should be. So instead of us getting maximum productivity, we are reducing the productivity that we have. Okay? So we said conservation agriculture is the way to go. Zero tillage is the way to go. I hope you've gotten that right because I know right here in Africa, everyone knows if you are farming, you just farm. You just farm. Chukua shembe, ingia shamba. Lima hiyo shamba like nobody's business. That is what we do. That is what we've been doing. But you've heard it from people who are doing farming. Peter Nyateng, I know, is dealing with vertical farming and they use hydroponics and stuff. But he has told you if you keep digging your shamba, it won't be as productive as it should be. Okay, so keep sending me your feedback. On Facebook, we are at Farmers. On YouTube, we are at Farmers Media. And you guys, I know you are wonderful people. You can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. I love every time we're going live, you are on the know. First-hand information, proper, kabisa. You never miss out on anything we do. So yes, subscribe to our page. Very important that you do. Help us grow. Like the members in our page, we help you gain knowledge. You attain your profits. We grow. It's a win-win for both of us. We win, you win. We are good to go. It's the world we live in. So we've looked at the basics of crop production. We defined what crop production is, and we said it's the growing of crops either for domestic use or for commercial purposes. And we've started by looking at land preparation. What do you need to know? What do you need to know for you to get into crop production? And I mentioned something about farm plan and actually doing a background study of what you really want to get into. If you can find someone to walk you through the journey, better. You can't walk in this journey alone. Farming is not for the faint-hearted. Trust me, you can't walk alone. If you can find someone, better. So that's just it for now. And then after you've done that and you've acquired your land, you have your capital, you have everything that you need to be doing what you need to be doing. How do you get then engage in this production process? How do you start preparing your land? How do you plant your seeds? How do you do your weeding? All these farm activities that need to be done before you get into harvesting period. Okay? And harvesting period doesn't end at harvesting, it ends at storage or maybe at the market. How do you do all these practices? And we've always advocated for good agronomic practices if you are to achieve maximum productivity. So we've looked at land preparation, what you need to do. But for me, my stand here is zero tillage is proper. Zero tillage is proper. Conservation agriculture is the way to go. Do minimal tilling of your land if you need your soil in good conditions and if we need to stop this thing of degrading our lands. Okay, so for me, zero tillage is the thing. For people who are doing tillage, okay, well and good for you. I hope you really get into the point of zero tillage. After you've tilled your land, you always go into the next process, the planting of your seeds. How do you plant your seeds? I think there's a time I went, no, actually it was at home. I remember. So we have a shamba somewhere in Juska, and then my mom, there's like a small part. You see the way you've built a house, and then you have a small part of land remaining. So she acquired Managu seeds. I don't know if you know Managu. Managu is African nightshade. Yeah, black nightshade. So she acquired Managu seeds and then she came. We are standing outside the house. You know the way you stand, unapiga story, normal life. She has the seeds. And she looks at the shamba. The shamba had been digged. She wanted to plant something, but she didn't plant. So she takes the seeds and then she throws them all through the shamba. Like you're not going to plant the way you usually plant. You know, you're going hole by hole, you are going line by line. No, she just took her seeds and then she threw them. Like you are broadcasting. So she took her seeds and threw them in the shamba. And I was trying to get her logic. Why are you actually throwing your seeds like that instead of planting your seeds the way they should be planted? It didn't make sense to me. But I realized it's a thing. It is a thing most African farmers do, broadcasting of seeds. So these people like wanatupanga seeds, ime penye itamea, ianguke penye itaanguka. That's what they say. Ianguke penye itaanguka, ya kumea itamea, yenye haitamea, haitamea. Why are we gambling? Why are we gambling? Why are we wasting seeds? Why are we doing things in the improper way? If you are seeding, we have people who are using seeders. Seeders are very precise. They are very precise on the depth at which they plant their seeds. So you have a very high chance of your seeds actually sprouting, your seeds emerging, because they plant them at a very specific depth. So you have no risks of your seed not growing and stuff, which is a technology that most farmers can employ if they really need to do farming. We are adapting a technology. We adapt technology, use the technology in our favor, make our work easier, and achieve maximum productivity. So, the seeding, for people who use the seeders, it's easier for them. The depth is usually covered. And there's very important things you have to be looking at when you are doing seeding. How are you placing your seeds? How are you spacing your seeds? At what seed rate are you planting? So spacing, we have crops that we tell you give a space of, let's say, 20 by 50. So within the crops, we need like 20 centimeters. Within one row and the other row, we need like 50 centimeters. If you need maximum productivity, spacing is important. Which reminds me, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. So we were going on a walk and we are talking, and he is in environmental science. So he has done something on environmental science. And he told me for his project, the campus project, he did something on farmers at his region. He comes from Homa Bay. So he was covering something about farmers from his region. And then it was all about how they plant and everything they do. And then he told me the way he actually found it very weird. Like these people, you walk into the shamba and you can't see where to walk. Like the crops have grown. Hapa, 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 like zimeshikana. They are so close together, you can't really even find your way around the shamba. And then he said one thing he realized, these farmers, year in, year out, they have very low output. Their crops are so squeezed, they have very low output. Spacing is important, and I think not every farmer has this knowledge out here. Not every farmer knows how they need to be doing things out here. You see, the moment I have grown my crops and I have put the seeds so close together, and I really don't like create the space later on as they emerge. Sometimes we do that, and then to see what seeds emerge, and then after that you can actually space now. Like you space, it's 2020, every other crop in between, ngoa yote. Like just get rid of it. Every other crop in between, get rid of it. We do that. But these farmers in this particular Homa Bay region are not doing that. So their crops grow so close together. They are competing for nutrients, they are competing for water, they are competing for sunlight. And then you expect to achieve maximum productivity from those crops. You see, I always say the input you put in is the input you get out. If they are getting less nutrients, less water, not enough sunlight, that's the kind of output you will get. You get very, very, very shady harvests. Like unapata harvest kidogo, minimum productivity, the size of a maize cob kanatoshana hivi, everything becomes kidogo. Why? Because everything ulipatiana, the input, your input was kidogo, small. That is what you get back. That is for me and seeding. So the spacing has to be right. The spacing has to be right. Make sure if it is 20 by 50, it is 20 by 50. Nothing else in between. The seed rates. I've told you something about because you don't know how they will emerge. I remember at certain point, I use my mom a lot for my examples. We were planting maize, and my mom always told us, in a hole, you put three maize. You don't know which one will emerge because you can put one and it fails to emerge. So the seed rate is always important, Pia. You never plant like one seed. We only do like one thing when we are using seedlings. For a seedling, you can actually use one seedling and it will grow. But for seeds, kuna kwanga na seed rate 2 to 3, 2 to 3, because you don't know which one will germinate, which one will not. And even when they germinate all of them, you know what we always do? Choose the strong one, get rid of the rest. We don't want things competing for nutrients and all these things, and then we have a very minimum growth of the crops that we are growing. So it is important that we do that. What else do I need to tell you about seeding? So I will emphasize again on being very precise when you are seeding. Hii mambo ya broadcast seed. Like you just walk into the shamba and then you broadcast your seed. Like you are scattering them. It is a no-no. It is a no-no. Especially if you are doing agribusiness, that is not the right thing to do. That is not the right thing to do. If you are planting your seeds and you have your holes, can you just adhere to that? Like, use your holes well. Don't scatter your seeds. Precise seeding will help you. One, like you have a consistent growth. Like, in this line yote, I have planted my seeds. But when you scatter your seeds, seeds can end up in one place. And then they end up in one place, and that's just what you have in your shamba. Like in one region, do umepanda seeds. And then you tend to use more seeds when you are scattering your seeds. So make sure you are doing precision planting. When you are seeding, it should be very, very precise. For people who can actually get seeders, better. It is a better technology for you to use. For a commercial farmer, and plus, you are in the 21st century. So if you can actually afford it, why not? Can you just use it, make your work easier, and everything becomes so easy for you? Because that's what we need to do. Um, can see a friend of mine right here, Kowino Kasila. Kowino Kasila, this is Kevin. Kevin is a good friend of mine. He says that Peter Nyateng sounds more brilliant and well informed on matters agriculture. Cheers, man. And to you, Lillian, for sampling such incisive inputs. Thank you so much, Kowino Kasila, for watching the show. Kowino Kasila works at KBC. Yes, Kowino Kasila is a presenter at KBC. I am glad that you're watching the show, Kevin. Thank you so much for watching the show. And yes, Peter Nyateng, we are supposed to be having him someday for an interview, but we'll work that out. He is very informed, and I am glad that we have everyone who is informed helping us give farmers the knowledge that they need in order to grow their profits. We need you to win, and on the other end, we will also win when you win. We give you knowledge, you attain your profits. Oh yeah, we are good to go. So that is it about the sowing of seeds. So we've looked at land preparation, sowing of seeds. There is another thing, the watering program. So it is more about irrigation. Most farmers that I know, no, actually 95% of sub-Sahara Africa relies on rain-fed agriculture. Very minimal people actually do like irrigation. So we have like 5% remaining. Yeah. 95 5% practice irrigation. But I will say this. Rain-fed agriculture is very, you can't really depend on it. You can't really depend on it. Yesterday, when I was doing the show on disasters in agriculture, I told you the Kenya Red Cross Society and the Kenya Meteorological Department has actually given us a warning that we might be experiencing floods and droughts in the next month, so in the month of May. If you are not practicing irrigation and you had planted as we were finishing March, as we were approaching April, and maybe your plants haven't reached at harvesting period, and then there's shortage of water, we have droughts. What becomes of your produce? You will make losses. You won't actually even get your produce back, okay? It becomes really hard for you to get produce. And this is where irrigation always comes in. I told you something about harvesting rain yesterday, which I think is very important, especially times like now. If the rain is raining and you can harvest rain, please do. If you can afford to put an irrigation system in your farm, please do. Especially because I assume most people I am talking to are into commercial agriculture. You are doing agriculture as a business. It is agribusiness. It is an investment. Can you invest in an irrigation system in your farm? Yes? Right. Invest in an irrigation system in your farm, especially when you use something like drip irrigation. You use very minimum water, your water is conserved, and your plants are able to obtain the water that they need. Okay? And it will help you to actually even produce all year round, whether there is rain or there is no rain. Sawa. For people practicing irrigation at the same time, at what time do you irrigate your crops? Do you irrigate your crops at midday? Is it right? No, it is not. So even the timing of how you irrigate your crops in the morning, in the evening makes sense as the land is cool. More water is absorbed, less water evaporates from the soil. So the water is absorbed, it is not wasted. So the irrigation program is very important, especially for someone doing commercial farming. The condition of the water that you are using to irrigate your crops. Make sure your water is tested. We have organizations actually testing your water. You don't want to be using salty water in your shamba, and then it affects how your production is taking place. So make sure your water is tested, that you have the right water to be using for the production that you need in your shamba. When you are farming, so you are looking at water, we've looked at water. We have various agronomic practices that we usually practice in our shamba. And I think I mentioned weeding when we were starting here, but it was one of the things that we do. Once the crops are established, you start to weed, you start pest scouting. So you have to do pest management and pest and disease management. And this is all dependent on the knowledge you have. So for weeding, people use chemicals, but we do advocate the chemicals will actually harm and damage your soil. If possible, can you just use, do you know aho? Aho is like, how do I call it? Uma, inakanga kama uma. Yes. For people who can talk Swahili, it is ni uma. You can use it to uproot the weeds, which is very easy and has very minimal effects on the soil. Or you can hand pick it. Because most of these weeds, actually, when you walk into your shamba, you can just pull them out very easily. So, kwanza, if it is not a very big shamba, and if it's a big shamba, have people helping you out. Just pick them out, get them out of your shamba. Sawa. That will make it easier for you. Because I told you, weeds compete with your crop. The moment you let weeds overgrow in your shamba, they are competing with the crop for nutrients, for water, for sunlight, every other thing that it needs for production, for photosynthesis to take place. They will be competing with the crop. And do you know what damage it causes? It can make the crop not to grow as well as it should, because they are absorbing more of the nutrients and the water, and maybe at some point they actually even grow taller than the plants. So the moment they grow taller than the plants, they cover the plants. The plant can't obtain maximum sunlight, photosynthesis rate is reduced, the food you get from your produce is less. So it does actually more damage than good. When you do weeding, like as the crop is establishing, you do weeding. And then after the crop has established, vizuri too, you come again and do late weeding. This late weeding helps prevent, like you see the way sometimes unaweza pata the weed has grown in your shamba, it gets to a point hadi imeanza it has flowered, it is removing seeds, and you know the moment these seeds disperse, oh yeah, weeds zimejaa kwa shamba, there will be plenty of weeds in your shamba. We do late weeding just to help with that. Try to get rid of any weeds that may be growing seeds in your shamba that may harm your shamba. So I have advocated personally as someone in agriculture. Can we just use mechanical and physical means to get rid of weeds instead of using chemicals? Peter Nyateng also says, I will repeat again what Peter Nyateng has said. While spraying weeds using herbicides helps farmers to reduce the weeds in the farm, the same is discouraged since it corrupts the soil health. Yes, the use of chemicals does a lot of damage than good. If we can find other ways to do what we need to do, better. It makes everything easier. I said about weeding, and then there's the thing of pest management. Pest and seed management. If you are a farmer, it is you should be doing pest scouting very regularly. What is pest scouting? Pest scouting, you walk through your shamba, you are looking at any pests that might be in your shamba. So like you look at the leaves of your shamba when you are walking in your shamba. You look at the leaves, the upside, the underside, like observe your crops. If you see any changes in your crops, there is something that needs to be done. If you see any pests in your crops, of course, when they are in abundance, they always cause damage. There is something that needs to be done. We did a show on integrated pest management, and we said we have several methods of managing pests and diseases. We have biological means, we have cultural means, so which looks at the process, how you did how clean your shamba is, how you maintain your shamba. It can actually always help you. We have physical method of getting rid of pests and diseases. We always say chemicals are usually the last resort when all other methods have failed. Chemicals are the last resort. But also for people who are practicing organic farming, we have organic pesticides that you can use. If you can use that, better. Pest scouting is very important. Make sure you pest scout your crops, especially in the morning and in the evening. If possible, 3 days in a week, you are good to go. You can monitor your crops before you get economical damage, economical loss because of the damage they've done. And because of that, I want to give you a hack before we go on a break and then we come up and wrap up the show. I ask you to keep sending me your feedback. On Facebook, we are at Farmers. On YouTube, we are at Farmers Media. I have sampled some of your feedback. If you still have something more that you'd really like to tell me, keep communicating with me. I'll be looking at that before we finish the show. And I like hearing your feedback. I like knowing where you're watching me from. Actually, I know there are some people I haven't seen today. I haven't heard today. Motha Mohammed, Machuki, I don't know where you went today. I don't know where you went today, but I like hearing from you people. And because of that, I give you a hack because you have been wonderful people. And I think you need easier way to do your things. So I will introduce you to the Plantix app. The Plantix app is an app that you can download on Google Play Store. So let me have a look at what it is telling me today. The Plantix app, you download it on Google Play Store. If you have an Android phone, download it on Google Play Store. Install it in your phone, and then I'll be telling you how it works. So the Plantix app helps you identify pests and diseases in your shamba. And it also gives you diagnoses, and it helps you by suggesting what you can do to get rid of these pests and diseases. On the other hand, it also tells you about the weather that you have in your place. Okay? So I want to, this is how you use it. You install your app, you log in into the app. In case of anything, you find like your crop is infested by either a pest or a disease that you have no idea of, because I know most farmers can't identify the pests and diseases. You take a photo after logging into the app, you take a photo of the crop and the particular diseased region, and then the app will scan the photo for you if you have data, and it will give you a diagnosis of the problem in your crop. After it does that, it actually recommends the remedy. It recommends the remedy of what you should be doing in order to get rid of this particular disease. Also, the Plantix app helps you keep track of your, it can help you in calculating the fertilizers you need to apply. So I will give an example. You have a banana, you click on a banana, the Plantix app will help you identify the pests and diseases that affect a banana. So for me, it has given me pests during the seedling stage, pests during the vegetative stage, and during the flowering stage, and during the fruiting stage, and during the harvesting stage. So it comes in handy. It is a very good app. If you can get it, it will help you along the way. You won't be struggling as much as we are struggling here as we try to, because you really can't identify the pests and diseases that you have in your shamba. And if you have data also, it always helps you with the weather prediction. It gives you the weather updates. So make sure you're getting the Plantix app. It will come in handy for you if you really are doing agriculture as a business. A reminder of the quote of the day, anti-war good vibes, anti-war positive vibes says, with confidence, you have won even before you have started. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. We are talking about crop production, and we will be getting back into this discussion after the short break that we are taking, but we are coming up to wrap up the show. So you can still keep sending me your feedback on Facebook at Farmers. On YouTube, we are at Farmers Media, and I'll be sampling them at the end of the period. And in the third period, as I told you, I am giving you a farming tip for the day. If you are doing farming, I got you in everything, in everything, in everything. So keep sending me your feedback. I'll be sampling that when we come back. And make sure you are staying safe with and from COVID. Make sure you are staying safe. You are putting on every precautionary measure that you've been told. We are going on a break. We will be back in a few. Make sure you don't go anywhere.
Cauliflower is a cruciferous vegetable that is naturally high in fiber and B vitamins. Cauliflowers are annual plants that reach about 0.5 meters and bear large rounded leaves. As desired for food, The terminal cluster forms a firm succulent cud or head that is in form of a cluster of flowers. Cauliflowers do well in fertile well-drained soils that are rich in organic matter. Just like other plants, cauliflowers are also affected by different kinds of pests and diseases which can hinder its growth, including unfavorable climate and growing conditions.
The many problems you will see in cauliflowers, and this one just one of them. You can see how the problem is. It's called riciness. You can see it living nachana, that is, yeah, living each other, as you always say. But this one is usually caused by low temperatures. Yes, low temperatures. Low temperatures during planting leads to this problem. So you have to make sure during planting you have favorable temperatures for your crops. Always talk to your agronomist when you plant, so you can know when to plant what and what works when. Temperature will depend on your area, the area you are in. Because I can't tell you we are in Nyandarua, I want to grow this, and you are in somewhere in like in coast, it's too hot. Yes, so that will depend also in your locality. Yes, and also if you are in those climates where it always changes, so you have to know when is the cold season. In cold season you can't do this because of A, B and C, and if it's too hot you can't do A, B and C. So always, that's why I'll just have an agronomist will guide you through it. Yes, and also do your market research and know what works where before you grow something as a farmer. Don't just do guessworks. There's a lot of pests that attack cauliflower. The most notorious one is aphids. Aphids will circle your leaves, and one thing you'll know, there's aphids on your leaves. They're always curling. Yes, they will eat, or they will suck the sap out of the leaf, and now when they are too weak they start curling. They curl inwards. So that's how you'll know you have aphid attack on your farm. Yes, and now what you can do to control aphids on your farm is always keep them in check by spraying. There's always a chemical solutions to it. There's a biological, and then there's IPM. Yes. The perfect head, I'll say, it looks like this one. Look at this. It's perfectly round, and it doesn't have any spots on it, and it's intact. That's what makes a perfect head, and is a good size, good market size. Not too small, not too big, not overgrown, just perfect. Yes.
As we quickly progress from agriculture to agribusiness, market is key. Join us every Wednesday as we bring to you Market Watch, a show that covers candid discussions regarding the state of the market. Tune in and let's turn our farms into businesses.
A very good morning to you. How are you doing? How have you been? Are you okay? Did you wake up well? Are you fine? I hope you really are. I really hope you are. Because you see, the world we are living in right now, a lot is happening. You might not be very okay, but I hope you are very okay. We've been having a discussion about crop production and generally engaging in crop production. We've looked at what crop production is, what are the things that you need for you to engage in crop production, how do you go about it. That is what we've been covering in the other parts of the show. And as before we went on the break, we looked at several things. We looked at the sowing of seeds, irrigation, weeding, pest and disease management as things that happen in the crop production process. Okay, so we start again with our quote of the day, and I said, "Hey, mini anti were positive vibes, by the way." So with confidence, you have won the day. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. Confidence is key. Trust me. Sometimes you just walk in somewhere, a place whereby you don't even have the skills, but your confidence, oh yeah, it will get you even that job. Confidence is key. It helps you to achieve as much as you can. So, Antiwa Positive Vibes today says, with confidence, you have won even before you have started. And I want to get back into the discussion we were having. I have seen a few of my friends here giving me feedback. Peter Nyateng, Kowino Kasila. Yes, you've been giving me feedback right here. And I really appreciate that you've been watching. And I have seen my friend is back. I mentioned it and you are back. So I have been having Akina Pitanya Tenko Vino Kasila telling me what they think about the show, and Tijani from Nigeria. And my friends are back. Tony Hillary, Tony Star says he is watching. Thank you so much, Tony, for coming and staying tuned in for the show. And then one of our top fans, Mother Muhammad. Good morning from Mombasa County. How is 001? How are you doing, Motha Mohammed? Are you okay? I hope you are well. How is Mombasa for you? How is the weather right there for you? By the way, I am in Kajiado, County 034. I am in Kitengela, and it is sunny today. But you guys are so used to high temperatures. I think I read your temperatures and I was shocked at how people survive in the coast region with very high temperatures. Mother Mohammed, thank you so much for staying tuned in for the show and for everyone who is watching the show. I know not everyone always gives me feedback, but I know you are watching, and that makes you a fantastic person. So thank you so much for watching the show. Sawa sawa? Yes. So we are getting back into our discussion. We've been talking about engaging in crop production. And there's something that Peter Nyateng said that really intrigued me. I think for anyone who is starting to watch the show right now, I'll just let you know what Peter Nyateng said so that we can be on the same page. So we've been talking about the activities that we do in our farm in crop production. And Peter Nyateng made very, very interesting remarks. So Peter Nyateng, we talked about the control of weeds, and Peter Nyateng, this is what he had to say. While spraying weeds using herbicides helps farmers to reduce the weeds in the farm, the same is discouraged since it corrupts the soil health. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If you missed the entire show, just remember that. The use of chemicals on your farm as a control measure for either weeds, pests, or diseases, it actually does more damage than good. It affects your soil. He also said, at the same time, tilling your land at the same depth for a long time brings about hard pan, which makes it difficult for plants' roots to penetrate, lowering the productivity. And from the discussions we had last week about sustainable agriculture, conservation agriculture, and we came to a conclusion that The more we till our land, the more we degrade our land. So we are degrading the natural resources that we have, that we need to be using for production. And we advocate for zero tillage. We advocate for zero tillage whenever possible. I said conservation agriculture is the way to go. It is the way to go. There's something else that Peter Nyateng said. Peter Nyateng also said, the moment you do agriculture, you find no reason on doing soil tests. But the moment you plunge into agribusiness, soil test is imperative. Farmers who practice agribusiness would want to avoid risk related to soil as possible. So I said about testing your soils. Make sure you test your soils. Know what nutrients are there, know what nutrients are lacking. Be advised on what you need to do to get what you need to produce whatever you need to produce. Sawa sawa? Know if your soils are actually infected. We've had cases of people having infected soils, and then these soils can't be as productive as they should be. Okay? Testing your soil is very important. And right here at Farmers, if you have an issue with your soil and you need any help, you can reach us in our inbox on Facebook at Farmers. We will sort you out. Okay? We can always come to an agreement of what we need to do. So you can reach out to us. And on pests and weeds and disease management, I introduced you to an amazing app called Plantix app, which you can use, and it makes your work so easier. Oh yeah, we are in the 21st century. In the 21st century, we are making good use of every, and I mean every, technology we have available that can make our work easier. Why not? I have told you of using seeders to plant your seeds. If they are making your work easier, and please, and you can afford it, so you just use it and then you make your work easier. So we want to get into the last bit of crop production, and I've told you, as from tomorrow, we will be covering the production of various crops. So we'll be going crop by crop in order to educate you. You might be interested in tomato farming, we will be doing that for you. Cabbage farming, will be doing that for you. We give you knowledge, and then you can use the knowledge that you have in whatever you need to do. This is the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Lillian Thomas, and we are getting back into this discussion. So we got to a point of disease, pest management, and weeding. And then you see, like, those are the good agronomic practices that we need to be doing in our fields if we are to achieve maximum productivity. And then we have harvesting as the next stage. Harvesting now depends on the conditions you had in your shamba. We have conditions whereby, you see right here in Nairobi, if I am planting watermelon here in Kajiado, it will take like 90 days, 90 to 120 days for my watermelon to reach maturity for me to harvest them. Someone else planting their watermelon in coast, it will take 60 to 75 days for the watermelon to mature. Okay? So the temperatures, the conditions we have determine the harvesting period of a certain crop. The growth process is different in different regions. And then depending on how altered the weather is, sometimes it gets too cold, it might take a little bit longer before you harvest your crops. Sometimes it gets too sunny, it might also take you a little bit longer. The conditions matter. But when your crops are at the harvesting stage, how do you do your harvesting? How do you do your harvesting? Let me address more specifically people in the horticulture field, flower harvesting, vegetable harvesting. Like, there are some things that you really need to do. If you are harvesting your crops, flowers and vegetables, they are usually done very, very early in the morning. Very, very early in the morning when the temperatures are very cool, when the water level in the plant is still high, okay? Because you see, during the day, it loses water via evaporation, transpiration. If you harvest your leaves during the day, if you harvest your vegetables or flowers during the day, they won't be in the very best condition that are required in the market. They won't be looking as fresh as they should be. But when you do in the morning, they are at the maximum. It makes it so easy, so good for you, okay? So do it in the morning. So harvesting really matters. When you are counting your leaf, are you leaving a stock to hold it to maintain its freshness, or you're cutting it at a point whereby after some few minutes, after some few hours, your crop is done? It really matters. How you harvest really matters. Harvesting and the transporting, especially for people who harvest and you transport immediately to the shamba. So last week we were looking at food loss and food wastage. If you didn't watch the show, please do it. It was on the breakfast show. I did something on food waste and food loss, and we realized that most of the food that is lost in Africa and in most developing countries is actually lost in this process between harvesting and it getting to the market. So we have a lot of post-harvest loss. The post-harvest loss are accredited to the fact that we don't have good transport materials, the transport infrastructure are not good, so the roads are not good. It takes a longer time to get to the market. The vehicles that we are using, we don't even have cold storage for our produce. So by the time we are getting to the market, our produce is not even fresh. So it is very important. If you are doing agribusiness, you can get these things. Cold storage to store your produce. Look at how you handle your produce from harvesting till it gets to the market. Let's minimize the post-harvest losses that we have in between. Okay? For other people, people store. People don't immediately take their produce to the markets. For some people, you store. Where do you store your produce? In what conditions do you store your produce? Actually, again, last week I gave an example of maize. If you store maize in a very humid place, in very cold conditions, the maize kinda accumulates a toxin. This toxin is called aflatoxin. And you know, a toxin is something that you can't consume. So your maize cannot be consumed, it actually becomes poisonous. So your storage conditions really matter. Things like maize really require very dry places and dry conditions. But other things like vegetables, you need cold conditions for them to stay very fresh. So your cold conditions really matter. So make sure you are looking at the conditions that you are storing your food in. That is about it. I think I have covered the whole process of production. Marketing of your produce is just another whole topic. But we did that. We did that. I don't want to repeat that again. We did that on an episode we did on Market Watch with Noah Nasiali Kadima of the Mid Morning Show. We did something with him on Market Watch, and we had a guest in the studio, John Mwanzia. And we had a lot of people contributing in, and we advised you on the best marketing techniques. So we'll be going through that. And I know tomorrow we'll be having something for you on the Market Watch. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. It covers everything that you need in the marketing space. Why are you getting into crop production? You can get into crop production to provide food, more like grow food to provide food, okay? That you understand. You can get into production for you to be able to obtain raw materials that can be used in a certain industry. Sawa? There are people who grow avocados for the avocados to be used in the oil industry to process oils. There are people who are keeping livestock for their skin that is used in the leather industry. So, whatever reason you're doing it for, do it well. Did you know? Actually, crop production helps create employment. One, for you as the proprietor of these activity that you're doing for people you might employ in your farm. It's like the way sometimes you have a very big farm and you need laborers to help you with weeding, to help you with harvesting. It creates employment for people. It actually even creates employment for people in the industries where your goods are used. Sawa? It creates employment and it also contributes to the economy. We said yesterday 25% of the world's GDP is because of agriculture. So it contributes to the economy, the general economy, the nation economy, the world economy. And for you as a farmer, it actually helps you get money. We do this as an economic activity. We said it's agribusiness. Agribusiness helps you get money. People say money is evil. Oh, I saw a joke yesterday. Was it last week? Um, Money is the root of all evils, but I want the whole tree. Like I want the whole tree. You think it is the root? Like me, I want the whole tree. Very intriguing. If you are doing this, we are doing it for the end game. The end game will aim at achieving food security. In the long run, you need to make profits from it. This is what we do at our farmers. Help you attain knowledge that will help you grow your profits. Sawa sawa. So money is important. If you're doing it in the long run, you have to make money, good money, at the end of it all. And it is one reason I know most people are getting into farming. I think there's something Noah Naseli Kadima said last week on one of his shows. And he said the way when he was getting into farming, he was like, what can I get? What can I do in farming that I will use money and will help me acquire more money? And initially he was told that I don't need to invest 40,000 and it will help him attain 400,000. And boom, he did immediately, of which it never gave him anything. I'm very sorry, Noah Natali Kadima. But these are the challenges that we experience in farming. That's why you need guidance from the word go. And that's what we do right here at our farmers. So make sure you are contacting us for any help that you need concerning your soil, concerning the land preparation, you want to be guided on your crop production, can you holler at us? Yes, please do, please do, please do. We will do that for you. So you might face certain challenges when you get into crop production, but these challenges can always be overcome. But when you are getting into production, we've talked about several things that are really useful for you. We've talked about the soil, we've talked about the water. So these are things that you need to know, because they will affect your production. So your soil fertility really matters if you really need to achieve maximum productivity. Water availability really matters, and that's why we are trying to shift from this whole thing of depending on rain-fed agriculture. We are shifting into irrigation. The diseases that affect your crops, the pests that affect your crops. The sanitation in your farm determines the diseases and pests that affect your crops, okay? So make sure that your farm is very clean. Make sure you do pest scouting very, very regularly to keep track of any pests that might have come into your field and to control them in due time. Okay, the diseases and pests, you can always work around them. And I have introduced you to the Plantix app. It comes in handy when you need to control your pests and your diseases. Sawa. Make sure you are downloading the Plantix app in your phone whenever you have something in your shamba that looks different, like you have a leaf curling and you can't really identify what it is. Log in into your Plantix app. Make sure you have data. Take a photo of that crop. Let the app diagnose it for you. Let it give you a remedy and do whatever you are told to do. And if possible, if you can do that, can you use an expert to help you around? Good. The climate also affects everything you do in crop production. We did a whole show, a full breakfast show on climate smart agriculture. It wasn't last Friday, it was the other Friday. You can just go and look at that. It will help you a big deal if you are getting into crop production. That is what I had for you today concerning crop production. And I think I'm going to wrap up whatever I had to say because of that, okay? Whatever I had to say, I'm going to wrap it up at that juncture. That's where we will end it. But as from tomorrow, we will be discussing production of various crops. Sawa? So you can tell me whatever crop you need to be discussed. We can keep it as a priority before the rest of the crops. And we want to give you information. And if you think you are an expert, you have been doing a certain crop for so long, you can also inform us. We can incorporate you into the show and interview maybe. Tell us what your experience is like. We can use that information as well. So make sure you are contacting us on Facebook at A Farmers, on YouTube at A Farmers Media. Before we wrap up the show, should I give you the COVID updates? I should give you the COVID updates so that we know where we stand at right now and what we need to do to keep safe. So, right here in Kenya, wow, Kenya is a very interesting country. The positive cases yesterday were 1,091 out of a sample size of, okay, sawa sawa. Sorry, I wasn't reading the correct thing. Let me just get the correct thing for you. I don't want to mislead you and you will say that I gave you wrong information. I don't want to do that. We can't be doing that right here on media. Positive cases yesterday were at 241. 241 positive cases out of a sample size of 2,515 cases. The positivity rate right now is at 9.6%. The recoveries are at 636. The deaths are at 20. My director is putting that up for you on the screen. You can just have a look at it. And I will tell you what I have observed. The positivity rate is going lower. It is going lower. At a certain point, we were at around 18%, 16%. We are at 9% right now, meaning we are improving, we are doing better, but that doesn't mean that we get relaxed about it. COVID is still around, so put on your mask, wash your hands or sanitize your hands regularly, keep social distance, and if you have no other business out of the house, can you stay indoors? Yes. Alafu watu wangu, these 5 counties in Kenya: Nairobi, Machakos, Kajiado, Nakuru, Kiambu. A reminder again, the curfew starts at 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Let 8 find you in the house. You don't want whatever happened to people on Saturday night to happen to you. You don't want to sleep on the road. You don't want anything of the sort happening to you. Curfew starts at 8. Make sure you are in the house at 8. We still have cessation of movement until 29th of May. That's just it. That's just it. Let's just keep track of all that. As we wrap up the show, let us do the quote of the day. The quote of the day: with confidence, you have won even before you have started. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. I don't know if you've started the day ama sahi ndio mnaanza. Oh yeah, confidence ni muhimu. As you are getting out of that house, believe in what you can do, believe in yourself, in everything that you are going to engage in. Believe you can achieve. You remember the slogan that Barack Obama had? Yeah, yes, I can. That is confidence. We are going to wrap up the show just at this juncture, and we'll have more shows coming up in the afternoon, and tomorrow morning I'll be here again. So Conrad Kibe will be coming in for the Farm Drive show at 3 p.m. Make sure you're staying tuned in for that. I'll be here tomorrow again at 8:30 at 9. I'll be doing the breakfast show. Until tomorrow, it is adios from me. Have a good day.